Okay, we're live. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just going to post this in. Okay, give me 1 second. Mike, you here?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah. Okay, posting this. So we are live now, and we should be good to go. I'm just posting everything in. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in.
Good morning, everyone.
Bear with me for a second while we post everything in. Okay, Chuck. Thank you, Chuck. Morning, guys. Morning, everybody. Morning, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. How is everybody
Good morning,
doing?
everyone.
CPI live right now. CPI is live.
CPI came in a bit lower than forecast.
Welcome in, Mike, Tyreek, Jeremiah, Javier, Xavier. I don't know why Xavier. I always say your name is Javier. I don't know why I do that. TDK. Jetson, you're awful, man. Jetson, you're absolutely awful. Jetson says this is my last $2.
Oh man.
Now I'm like a super villain. But thank you, Jetson. Welcome in, guys. Hope everybody had a nice day yesterday. We got Mike on the stream this morning. Mike, I am going to. Let me get Mike Trades, his YouTube channel as well. I'm gonna pin your comment to the your channel to the comments.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy CPI day.
Let me pin this over. Pin message. Welcome in, guys. A lot to go over this morning. CPI data release live. Mike, do you have the data? Do you have the numbers?
Yeah, it came out at 2.3 versus 2.4 forecast.
2.3 versus 2.4 forecast. Okay.
Yeah, in the month over month, 0.2 versus 0.3 forecast.
Okay. So a little bit better than expectations.
So slightly lower. Yeah.
Looks like my camera's going
So
in and out a
far,
little bit. Let's see if I can fix this.
so far, not a massive reaction on SPY.
No, it's not. But we'll talk about it, guys. Welcome in. Hope everyone's having a nice Tuesday morning. We're going to talk about it's 8:33 a.m. We're just waiting for a few people to join in. We'll get started. We have Mike on the stream. Mike, his YouTube channel is pinned in the comments. Give Mike a follow if you guys can. And bear with us as we're learning how to do this. We're still kind of learning this collab stream stuff. So I know many of you guys may not love it because from a technical standpoint, it may not be perfect. But we're going to get it perfect for you guys over time. Mike is in Greece as well, so he's probably in some like a hotel Wi-Fi or something like that. But this is the best we're going to do with what we have. So welcome in, guys. Let's get started. I first want to dive into our econ data earnings reports. Then we'll jump back in and go over charts. And Mike and I will go back and forth on some ideas today. So let's dive into it. So today on the earnings docket, the earnings docket today is pretty light. Today's Tuesday, May 13th. You can see mostly small cap names. You have JD, you have SEA, it's Honda, right? I don't think anyone's trading these names. Wednesday session, pre-market, you have a few other names, but nothing too crazy on the earnings docket going into our session, both today and tomorrow. Going into Thursday session, you have Baba, Walmart, John Deere. If you're trading John Deere, you probably got to go to the doctor. because I wouldn't trade any of these names, right? Except maybe Baba, Walmart. Those are ones to watch, but I wouldn't trade anything else. On the economic docket, this is where things get interesting. Mike and I were just talking about this, but I have the data in front of us. The CPI was released just about 5 minutes ago, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what I have on my end is I have CPI year over year 2.3 versus 2.4 expectations. The prior was 2.4, so we do have a good CPI read. I mean, it's not crazy, it's not amazing, but it is certainly better than expectations. So market does like that. So CPI 2.3 versus 2.4. Now going into the rest of the day, you can pretty much see there's nothing else on the docket. Wednesday session, things do get also slow as well. You have some more Fed speakers, Waller, Jefferson, and Thursday. We'll talk about Thursday as we get closer to that day. So anyway, nothing really much to talk about today besides CPI, and you're pretty much seeing the reaction to that this morning on this pie chart. So let's dive into it. Mike, I'm gonna start first with SPY. I'll talk about some levels here and just let me know what you have as well. We can kind of, I think you and I pretty much probably have very much the same stuff. But for me on the SPY chart, yesterday's session, I think we both had the same idea here, which was longs back in demand, right? So it was either going to be short the highs here at 585, or it was going to be some sort of demand reversion play, right, at that 576, 575 level. And yesterday's session, you can see what happened was we just did this. We pulled back to demand yesterday and didn't quite tap demand perfectly, but we got pretty damn close to it. And we ripped higher off that level, right? And that was the theme of yesterday's session. I think Mike actually caught a really surgical short here. Mike shorted the highs here, the 580 failure, right? The 580 failure yesterday.
580.50. Yeah, that pre-market level.
Yep,
really nice.
The pre-market level. And then I think I went long here in that reclaim. So pretty much a bound up day yesterday. You could have shorted the highs, you could have long the lows. And both sides won. It wasn't really a day where bears won. It wasn't really a day where bulls won. It was kind of a consolidated day going into our previous day session. Now, what I would say about today, right, in the most plain way possible, is we're in a goddamn channel, right? The channel is between 585 and 576. You want to FAFO in the channel, you can do it, right? And this is what I would do. I would say if you see us fail 585 today, look for shorts and then move back lower, back into demand. If you see us pull back to demand today, right, look for some reversion plays back at 576. Look for reversion plays at 570 as demand. That's it. You're gonna play with the three levels we have right in front of us. If we obviously break and hold above 585, right, if you see like a post CPI crazy trend day above 585, don't short it, right, because we're probably gonna go to 590, which then is the next big level of resistance, and that's your next short. So the way I would operate today is kind of similar to what we were saying yesterday's session, right? It's just simply 585 supply, 576, 575 demand, 570 demand. You just trade with the three levels in front of us. If we do see upside trending action today above our 585, which you're seeing some reaction today. Like, you look at this, you're seeing pre-market, you're seeing us try to hold above the 585, but then shortly after failing it, right after that CPI candle. So today's session is pretty clear, right? You can see that the level is right in front of us. It's simply 585. Mike, I don't know, you have anything to add about SPY? Anything, probably same stuff on SPY, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean, 585, 586 is at ES 5900. So I'm interested in failures there. Or if we get back under that 580 level, potentially we can look for shorts under there, back into the 575 demand, which is the same area we were looking for longs yesterday. But yeah, it's post CPI, so I really just want to see how we open. A lot of times we get these pops and failures, and we fade the entire day. So, it kind of just depends how we open, and we'll trade based on what we see.
Right, exactly. The one thing though that you probably noticed is, Mike, you can probably attest to this too, but during CPI days, you typically see the when we define trend on a CPI day, it's one you don't really want to fight too much, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? It just goes into trend and kind of just continues that trend all morning. So it like, that's what I'm saying, is like, even though I like this too, like my top watch today is probably going to be looking for a 585 short, right? If I see this happen today, it's going to be the best case scenario. But understand this as well. If the market does get going above that 585, 586, like Mike is saying 586, right? So we'll go over ES in a second. But if we do see a strong retention above this level, right, you probably don't want to be overly short, because during CPI days, you do see a crazy trend in either direction. Likewise, like same thing for longs today, right? If you see us break down immediately and start going into a downtrend, you probably don't want to be looking for reversion plays, at least into that 576, 575. Because again, when we have CPI days, we typically go into we typically hit strong trends, right? And these are the days where you don't really want to be sort of going all in on those like bounces and rejects, those reversion trades. You want to be looking for mostly trend-based entries. Just my 2 cents. Like again, like today, that the top watch for me is literally just the same thing, right? Rejections here or reversions there, right? But I just want to keep that in mind today. In the back of my head is that like understand that during CPI, you tend to see some crazy trend. So Mike was saying on the ES chart to watch that 5,900 level. So for me, I'm going to add that to my chart, right? I didn't even have this added. As you can see here, he's talking about this level right here, right? So if you just zoom out to the 1 hour time frame, 5,900 psych level, it also seems to be an area where we do have some reactions there. I would say that even not just 5,900, but you can see even 5,930, right, as technical level. So I would keep an eye on that level as well today. So if you do see us begin to trend higher above our previous day highs, which we'll chart that out properly now. So we're going to make some adjustments here on the ES chart. So above our previous day highs, which is like 5870, right? Which we know is this. We know that this 5870 is the equivalent of SPY 585. If we do see us break and hold above 585 or 5870 ES, you know we're going to go higher back into 5900 ES, which again, Mike was just saying is an area he's watching for rejection shorts, right? So if you see us, and granted, when he's saying that, he's also saying this, like if you see us just continuously push higher today on CPI and just break through with no sign of failure, don't short it, right? But if you see us push into it and begin showing signs of failure, right, that's a short opportunity, right? You can look for a move down lower off that level. So watch and see how we respond to 5900 ES. It's a good level to keep an eye out for. Also watch 5930 as technical supply as well. You can see on the 4 hour time frame where that's coming from. It's coming from these highs over here. These lows over here. These lows over here. These lows over here. So today's session pretty simple in terms of ES's chart and SPY's chart. They're kind of both the same thing, right? You can see 585 technical level, which is 5870, 5900 ES, 5930 ES. That's all we have here on the ES and SPY chart. So, Mike, we're going to dive over to Qs now. Do you chart QQQ, Mike?
I do, yeah.
You do. What levels do you have in the Qs? Is it similar to mine? I have 510, 505, 500. What are your levels here in the Qs?
Yeah, the main one for me today was 500.
500? Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say that, you mean you're watching 500 for you're watching 500 for probably
For a bounce.
For a bounce.
For a bounce, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So same deal with me. I have major level at 500 as my big technical demand low. And then I have 505. Remember yesterday we said 505 is a little like pivot, right? 505 was a pivot yesterday. We broke down and failed. Mike, your short yesterday was actually quite nice because it was just a beautiful bear flag back in the 505 supply, right, on the Qs. And this was a really nice technical short. You can see here, right, where he went short was, where Mike went short was like 10.15, right? It was like right here as we broke down lower, tested 505, break and retest downside, right? His short was somewhere over here. This was actually a really nice technical short yesterday, not even just based on SPY, but also based on the QQQ. So that's why these levels are important here on Qs, because you don't want to just watch SPY. You want to see what's going on here on overall tech. Now, going into today's session, obviously the same levels are valid today, right? You have 505 demand low, 500 demand low, but you also have the supply above us now, like 510. Mike, I don't know if you have this level the same as mine, but I have 510 on Qs. On the 4 hour time frame, you can see here a lot of reactions here at the 510 to 512 supply. It's an area you really don't want to be long into, right? Like I see this right now and I'm just looking at it and like, holy shit, like this is a level to watch out for, right? 512, 510, major supply. If you're going to see upside trend today, you really want to see us break and hold above 512, right? That's not even just 510, but 512, because you can see the whole zone between 512 and 510 is the level to watch out for. It looks like we just lost Mike, guys. I think we just lost Mike. I don't know where he went. Oh, he's back. I think he's back. I think he may be back. But let's move on. So 512, 510, the whole area is a zone to watch out for. If you want to see upside today's session, you want to look for a break and hold above the 512 level, right? That, in my opinion, would give us that upside move. But for now, we're still rejecting off major supply. Is this an area of supply you want to be long into? I'm going to argue probably not, right? Probably not. So what I would look for today's session here in the Qs is I'd look for a break and hold above 512 for long side trades. I would look for, at least now, probably reversion trades here off the 512, 510. Or I would look for the bounce here off the 500, which Mike and I were just talking about. So those are the three things I'd watch for in the Qs. Mike, you're back. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you. There you are.
Okay. All right. So yeah, one thing I wanted to mention about the Qs as well is I don't know if you pulled up the NQ chart yet or not, but
No, I
we're
haven't.
right at that 2100 level, and that was the same area, the same level as yesterday that we were slapping off of. So I think
Yeah.
that'll be a big level for today if NQ can break above that or not, that 2100.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's a huge level. And you see it more so in the on NQ than you do in the Qs. Look at this level. Like, this is not something you really want to be long into, right? Like just at this moment, right? You got to wait for it to either clear, right? Or I mean, the best scenario, really, even for longs, the best scenario is going to be some sort of play lower, right? Back into demand lows, back into that 20,500. Like that. Like if you're a long trader, that's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for this, right? So like even from a bull perspective, that's what you're looking for. So Cozy, thank you very much, Cozy. That's very nice of you. Very very kind of. Yes, we'll go over Google, but yeah, 20,500 here in the NQ. I think that's a very logical pullback long. And this area right here is an area you just don't really want to be long into, right? You can see so much supply built up over here at this 20,100, and that's the same. This is the same idea as us saying, watch that QQQ level, right? Which is on the Qs is that 510, 512, right? So, I mean, it's an area, right? This whole zone to me is an area, just a no long zone, right? Just don't go long in the 512, 510, right? Wait for it to clear out. If it does, that's your long trigger. But for now, keep it on the back burner. Okay, so I think we can go into some tickers today. Look, I know that the main theme of today, just so everyone's aware, just to make it clear, is we're in supply, right? We have CPI data has come out. CPI data has come out. It is good CPI data, but we are in supply across the SPY, across the NQ, across the QQQ, across the ES. The question is, do we break supply, in which case we see a break and retest above 585, above 21,000 NQ, or do we see that the pullback back into demand, back into 576 demand, which would be probably a better case scenario today, where we can look for the long plays back at the demand lows. So just keep that in mind today, guys. Just want to make it clear that everyone knows what's going on here on all the indices. So what we'll do is we'll start off, Mike. We'll start off with actually you pick the ticker to start off with. What do you want to do?
All right. So one thing I am watching is AMD 106.
AMD. Okay, let's go over that. So what are your levels on AMD? 105.50, 106?
106. Yeah. Um,
106.
if you look at the 4 hour or daily chart, you'll be able to see. I can't see your chart,
Okay.
but if you pull up the daily or 4 hour, you should be able to see the level.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I had for some reason I had 105.50, but I could see 106 as well. That's a really nice level here, right? So you're watching 106 on AMD. Are you watching anything above Are you watching above 110 at all, or mostly just the 106 level?
No, mostly just the 106. It's hard for me to want to take breakout trades right now. I
Especially in
like AMD
AMD.
and NVIDIA for pull. Yeah, for both of those names. I mean, chips look good for pullback longs, but I don't really want to take breakouts with market at supply here.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I agree. Like everything's extended, and we're just extended in supply. So logically, right? Like even though there is definitely supply here at 110, if you do clear 110, obviously upside back to 113. But I think the most logical play still is at 106 level. And I think during our pre-market yesterday, we spoke about 105.50 and we spoke about 110. But adjusting that 105.50 down to 106. And 110 still valid. I still think 110 is valid, but I agree with you. Like it is it's a little finicky as we are in supply. And I think like on the Nvidia chart, it's the same deal. But Mike, do you see Nvidia? This pre-market on Nvidia. This is some sexy pre-market on Nvidia. Wow,
Yeah, crazy.
this is crazy. Yesterday pre-market, I didn't want to signal Nvidia because people hate Nvidia. But Nvidia they hate Nvidia, they hate AMD. But Nvidia 120 was super nice yesterday, right? We spoke about this a little bit in the pre-market. We talked about the idea to pull back long play back at that 120, 119.5, and that's what worked out yesterday so beautifully. Now today's session we're above 123.50, which in my opinion this is where things become a little tricky now because if you go to a larger time frame here on the video, you see like there is a lot of demand here at 123.50, and if we are holding above 123.5, we should in theory move higher now to 128, right? That's that next level. But I don't know, I don't know if I want to be a participant on the option side in this. I think I'd rather just be a shareholder, right? Like I think that's a good rule of thumb here. When the market's overextended like this, do you really want to be a participant in a breakout trade? It's breaking pre-market. I think for me, I'm just going to be a participant in the shares, and I'll hold this 200 plus. But in the short term, I would want to see a pullback again, right? I want to see at least a 123.5 pullback, right? That's your previous highs, 123, 123.50 as a pullback long. You can look for that today, or you can look for the 120 pullback long again, which was still valid today's session. So if you're gonna trade this again, I'm not really loving the breaks because we don't really have anything to 128. So what I would do is I would look to see, can we pull back to 123, 123.5? That's your first pullback long spot right here. The pre-market, yesterday's highs, Monday's highs. And also that pre-market level, right before CPI, you see we were producing a high here. Right before CPI, we produced a high here, 123.50. So today's session, if we do see a pullback today, it's going to be either a pullback long here, right, or it's going to be a pullback long back at 120. I'm watching both, right? Personally, it doesn't mean we have to signal this, right? You guys don't have to like wait for us to trade this. I know many of you guys are going to be really mad about NVIDIA, or AMD, but watch this today, right? Watch these previous day highs to turn into support in the trading session, today's session. All right. So with that being said, Mike, we have how many people did we have here this morning? We have a lot of people here this morning. I think did I read 1,300 people? There's a lot of people here.
1,300. Yeah, that's good.
We have 1,300 here in the pre-market. How many likes do we have? Let's see. It's taking me a second to load everything. I don't know why. But Mike, you pick the next ticker. Which ticker you want to go next? Want to do Amazon? Amazon, Apple?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right, let's do Amazon. So, what are your levels in Amazon? I'll let you do this one.
Amazon, I had the 194, but that was that already came out. I think 202 was a level I had.
202.
Check. I wasn't really watching Amazon today. Okay. I wasn't really watching Amazon today, but yeah, I mean, I'd have to get a much deeper pullback on Amazon. 204 or 200.
204, 200. Yeah, Mike, we have 1,800 people here right now. It's crazy. On the nice. I agree with you. On the 1 hour time frame, like it's at some point it has to, like, we have 210, right? 210 is a level, but to me it's just like, is it even a level anymore? It still is a level, but where does this go to now? Like, I mean, 215 is where I think this probably just grinds to 215. That's just where I think it goes. I don't think this is even going to give us an entry point, right? The only entry point I'm going to see here at Amazon is going to be some sort of pullback long to 206. 206 is a pullback long, and then obviously 200, right? So what's going to happen, right, is you're going to see a lot of these charts shift, right? Because none of these charts really have given us big pullbacks yet, right? Even yesterday's session were small pullbacks, but nothing considerable, right? So if this does shift at some moment, right? Let's just say Amazon does pull back. It does pull back to 206. It does pull back to 200, right? It's not necessarily bearish because this is still, this chart still is just forming a new high, right? So eventually what's going to happen here is it's going to have to do this, right? High, a low, a high, a low, a high, a high. If it still forms a low here at 206, at 200, right? It's still valid long side trades. So watch 200 for a long bounce. Watch even 206 for a long bounce. That's what I look for today's session. And again, like, the reason why, like, you have to understand that the market eventually will pull back, and it's not necessarily a bearish pullback. It's going to be a bullish pullback. So look for 206 for bounce. Look for 200 for bounce. That's what I look out for. So even as far as 194. 194 is an insane level here on Amazon. So keep an eye on all three. I agree with you, Mike. Like, you don't want a long back in the supply here. Look for those pullback longs. What do you think about Apple? I think Apple kind of same deal, right? Apple 214.
Apple, yeah, needs a big pullback. I think Meta 610. Meta 610 was another one I liked.
Meta 610. Yeah. I see it. 610. 634 as a level though. I can see highs and highs and highs and highs and highs. You have 610, but 610 obviously also a level, right? You can see. Look at the break. Yesterday's action was just technical all around, right? We did pull back. We pulled back. We formed a high here at the pre-market high, 634. We spoke about this yesterday too. Above 634, upside trade at 640. Now today's session we're above 634. So if I were trading Meta today, I would look for either the 634 pullback long right there, right back at that previous day breakout level in the pre-market high of that Monday session, or I would look for the deeper pullback that Mike was talking about, the 610 level, right? So 610 level pullback long, 634 pullback long. But by all means, this chart's still bullish, right? This is why also, like, if you guys were with us live trading yesterday, we spoke about long side trades as long as Meta was holding and Apple were holding. And this was holding well, and this looked like it was going to break out. So that's why we long SPY yesterday. But 634 level today is a key thing to watch out for. Look for pullback long 634. Look for pullback long 610. Don't be long in a 650 though. Like if we just keep grinding higher in a 658, this is a big rejection point, right? You can see here big supply here at 658. So keep an eye on that as well. Just so you know, like hey, if you're in meta long options, right? You see us trending higher in a 658. Be careful of that supply rejection because it's still a big area to watch out for. Okay. Shifting to Apple for a second. I want to go to Apple for a second. On the Apple chart, Apple I actually like for a breakout. And it's a little bit different from other charts because, in my opinion, it's not overextended, right? The reason I'm saying that is because it's gapped up, it's made a move, right? But it's not as extended as other names, right? This name, it has the potential to see higher, and it would confirm that for me if we get above 214. So my main watch on Apple is above 214 for calls, right? If we can clear 214, we break downtrend, we move higher back into these highs here, 225. The reason why I also think this as well is because there's a very low volume node between 225 and 214. So if you do get above this high here, this previous high here, that May 1st high, then I think we should move higher back into 225 without much hesitation, right? I think it'll happen pretty quickly. You'll see equal and opposite magnitude higher back into 225. So that's what I'd watch out for on this Apple chart. Mike, what about Tesla? What about Tesla? What do you have on Tesla?
I don't have anything for Tesla.
Nothing?
Yeah, I mean, feel free to run through tickers. I honestly, my main watches today are I'm watching SPY and chips. That's really it. So I don't want to take up too much of your time if you want to go over other tickers. I just really want to watch market and chips.
Mike is basically telling us he doesn't want to go over Tesla. That's okay. So on Tesla,
no, I don't have any levels on Tesla.
Oh, you don't need levels.
So just go for it, run it.
Sure. So Tesla, yeah, I mean, like I do agree with you though. Like it's like even yesterday's session, it didn't really do much. It stayed stagnant. It was in range all day. If I were trading Tesla, what I would look for is I still think this is what I'd want to see. I would want to see that pullback at 295, right? That's the only thing I really have in here on Tesla is going to be a pullback long here at 295. At some point, this will happen. I think it will happen eventually. What's going to happen is this is the most classic scenario is, okay, like we know this is going to have to happen eventually, right? We know a pullback at 295 is going to happen eventually. What's going to happen is it's going to pull back, right? And everyone's going to say, oh my God, Tesla's going to zero. Tesla, is going to be delisted, right? Tesla, buy puts now. And then this happens, bam, right? You're sitting there with looking like a schmuck because you were watching 295 there, but then when it comes here, oh shit, why did you not take the trade, right? So I still think this is valid. Watch 295 for longs. If we pull back there, that's where you'd want to take it. The reason why it's far-fetched is because look where we're at, right? I'm asking for an 8% equity drop. So maybe it doesn't happen, right? Maybe it doesn't happen, but I would keep an eye on that going into our session today, 295. You also have support here at 308. That's where we had support yesterday's session, still support today, right? So 308 still support. It's that Friday high. But the big level to watch out for still is 295. Joshua and Express, thank you guys. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Express. You guys are awesome. You guys don't have to do that. Hopefully it's coming out as some nice gains from yesterday's session. Thank you guys. That is very nice of you. Right, let's move on. So let's go over PLTR. PLTR looks horrible, right? I don't know. Mike, you have anything to say PLTR? I don't like PLTR. I mean, 125.
Let me check the chart. Let me check the chart and I'll get back to you.
Check the chart. 125 level. I mean, I think it's a slippery chart now. It just double failed highs, all-time highs here. I think eventually this does pull back lower, right back into the 104 level. I think it's where it goes to. I mean, if it can clear 125, obviously long trigger is there. That would be your long trigger. But I would not touch it anywhere anymore. This is just a dead chart to me. It was really sexy before, but I think what's going to eventually have to happen is it's going to have to slow down for a little bit, right? So let this chart slow down. I think if you're going to trade it, though, it's either above 125, long side, or it's going to be a pullback to 104. Those are the only ways you can trade this chart and keep it on the back burner until then. Yeah, I don't think anything.
Yeah, above 125 or below 115 for shorts.
115 for shorts. Yeah, 115. 115 for shorts, back lower into 104. Yeah. Right. So let's move on. Let's go over. Let's do SoFi. I'm reading the chat now, guys. We're gonna go over as many tickers as we can. SoFi. SoFi 14. That's your level here in SoFi. If it can clear that 14 level, which it is pre-market, back into, I would say 15.0, right? I mean, nothing crazy here, right? You see a level of resistance here, 14.0, 14.0, 14.0, 14.0. If it can clear this level, back into highs through 15.0. I don't really think this is a sexy chart, but if you want to trade it, that's absolutely what you do, right? Just be careful of these highs here, that 14.5 highs, right? You can see there is some rejection plays over there at 14.5, okay? Coinbase. Coin. What the hell is going on with Coin? Big upside here in Coin. Probably because something is occurring on Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin moving up? No? It's not. Why is Coinbase moving up like this? Interesting.
They're joining the S&P 500 on May 19th.
That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, there had to be some sort of catalyst here in Coinbase. So that's big, right? And I'll tell you this, right? I mean, I'm not a big head and shoulders guy. Mike, I don't know if you're a big head and shoulders guy, but do you see this little inverse head and shoulders here? I mean, that's hard to ignore, right? You can see massive massive inverse head and shoulders. What does this mean now going forward? I think obviously this likely as a bull case, right? So back into 250s where I'd expect this to go to. That's the next big level resistance here. You can see 250 as resistance. But where can we trade this now? So now that we know eventually that's where we're probably
Yeah, I mean, I like the pullback.
The pullback. Which level?
If it gets back down to like 215, 214.
Yeah. Yep. 213, 213.5, 214 would be a good level. If you're a fib trader, you're saying 215, right? So this whole zone is what you're watching probably, right? This is what I'd watch out for today's session, right? I'd look for this whole zone, 216 to that 213 level as a big level to watch out for, right? So keep an eye on pullbacks today, right? This could be a top watch for pullback longs, right? This is a really nice bounce opportunity, right? So, and this is a good catalyst as well. It's a strong catalyst, right? Being added, the S&P 500 is big, right? So keep an eye on that Coinbase chart, right? Microsoft MSFT 443.50. I don't know. I don't know anything on Microsoft. Don't ask me about Microsoft, right? Microsoft's a chart I don't trade on.
Yeah, I mean, I took the 440 breakout this past week, and you actually could have taken a 440 bounce yesterday. I didn't even see that happen, but that was a really nice level. So that's kind of the level moving forward. It needs to hold for longs.
Yeah. I agree. Right, I agree. 420, I have 420, 440, right? 440, literally low a day, Mike. 440.
Yeah, 440, crazy 440 bounce yesterday.
Was literally low a day. So I mean, that's obviously the level. 440. Above 450. I mean, if you want to get really crazy, above 450, but I think that's spicy. I think it's too spicy for today. I think that's too spicy. I mean, if you want to look for if you're really just crazy, you can look for the break and retest above 450. I mean, it is spicy though. It really is. I don't love it. I mean, I'd say the 440 level. Keep an eye on that. Right, that's what I'd watch out for today's session. Right. Last ticker of the day. Let's do one last. Let's do one last more. One last ticker. Let's do Google. Google chart. I'm gonna pretend I didn't see this. Skipping it. Horrible. Uber. Also horrible. I mean, maybe larger time frame. Go ahead.
UNH got news. They appointed a new CEO, and they took away their guidance for 2025, and it's down about 10% pre-market. I will say, UnitedHealth, if it gets to 300, that's a great long-term buy.
Yeah. Weekly time frame, weekly level 283, 284. That's an insane level.
Yeah, that whole area 300 to 250 is just a great buy, long term.
Yeah.
I think it's the biggest healthcare insurance company in the U.S., maybe the world.
Yeah, UNH. We'll keep an eye on this one. But that's a good long term. So you're saying between 300 to 280s, 250s and change is what you're watching for longs.
Yeah, that whole area in there is great for long term.
Yeah, I'd watch it. Looks good. Looks good. Anyway, I think we can call it here, guys. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Mike, for joining in. Mike's channel is in the YouTube pinned comment. Give Mike a follow if you guys can. Give him a follow on his YouTube. We'll do more of these collab sessions. Rav and I are doing a collab session on Friday. So I'll see you guys all for live trading if you trade with us. If you don't, link is in the description. Mike, I'll see you in a few minutes, man. Bye, guys.
All right. Thanks for joining, guys.